On the show. Our guest this hour is Jonathan Bailor. And just before the break, we were talking about his new book, The Smarter Science of Slim, where he proposes that we can eat more, exercise less, smarter, be more fit, be more healthy, and lose weight. And as I started the show today, I had taken this trip down memory lane comparing some of the bogus information that big tobacco gave us as a people 50 years ago about how healthy cigarettes were for us to some of the industry propaganda in terms of diet foods and exercise. Jonathan, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, before that break, I hit on the food pyramid, and I know they're not calling it that anymore. What do they call it now?
I believe they call it my plate. It's not my plate, Mike. I don't know if it's your plate, but it's definitely not my plate.
Well,
let's call it their plate.
Yeah, no, it's not my plate either. Run through the my plate guidelines quickly and why those are so bogus.
The My Plate guidelines are actually really easy to describe because they're the same guidelines we've been getting since 1976 when this information first came out, which was far from scientific. And it was basically that the foundation of our diet or the cornerstone of our diet should be starch. There's no research to back that up, and I spend a lot of time in my book talking about that. But it's really we should eat a cornerstone of our diet being starch because starch is low in fat, and fat is evil, and protein is frankly irrelevant. So the only real change we've seen in the most recent guidelines, and I do have to tip my hat to this because this is going in the right direction, is truly more emphasis on eating vegetables. In the previous graphic released by the government, it was actually made very clear by them that we should eat more starch than we should eat vegetables. And I don't understand how anybody could ever think that. In their new graphic, that message is, let's say, improved. It's still got a far way to go, but there is, I guess, a ray of hope. But fundamentally, we're still getting told the same stuff, and it's not right.
Well, I understand why they say eat more starch. If I was the food industry, I would want people to eat lots more starch because that's cheap to produce and expensive to sell, and the profit margin is extremely high. Now, one of the other things that I learned from your book is that for good food, broccoli, vegetables, flax seeds, fresh meat, fish, those are there's less of a profit in selling those products.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, step into the mindset of a food, company CEO for a second. You know what? When you can take starches and sweeteners, you can engineer food products. Like you can build a thing that you can put on the shelf in mass. They all look the same. They all taste the same. And you can put it on the shelf, let it sit there for a year, and sell it to people. And you can charge a heck of a lot of money because no one knows what they should pay for it because it's a new product. Whereas when you actually sell food, that can be kind of a pain, right? I mean, meat needs to be refrigerated. Vegetables need to be refrigerated. Fish goes bad in just a few days. That's not a product you can sell. That is something entirely different. And it's a pain from an economic point of view, but it's a great thing from a health point of view.
You know, something that I told you one time when we were talking on the telephone is even in my own family, when it's a family gathering, a picnic or something, the beverage of choice is sugar-sweetened flavored water. And
of one form or another.
Yeah. And we're talking soft drinks here, friends. And people wonder whether kids are fat. Now, if your kid is getting their hydration from sugar-sweetened water, of course they're going to get fat. Of course diabetes is going to go up. And the stupidity of this begins to make me very angry. And one of the things that I read in your book was a report from the National Soft Drink Association. Matter of fact, hang on here. I've got to. This would be the day that I don't have. Oh, here. Yeah, okay. Here's the quote. As refreshing sources of needed liquids and energy, soft drinks represent a positive addition to a well-balanced diet. What? I'm sorry.
And I don't know if that's a balance between, their new Rolls Royce that they're going to go buy or their new, G4 jet, but it's not a balance from our point of view. And that you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about your family gatherings there, Mike, and the idea that we can, drink this soda and we can do these types of things. The nuance and the irony there is that, again, it's not necessarily about doing like less eating. It's not about less eating. It's just about changing what we are eating. And in fact, once we change what we do eat, heck, we can eat as much of it as we want, and we will not gain weight because it has all these positive impacts on the way our bodies work, and our body will naturally keep us slim. And that's really the exciting research that's covered in the book.
Well, one of the points that you just hit on is it's not about eating less. It's about eating more higher quality food. And I think one of the real challenges with so-called diet industry is it's all about deprivation. We are needing to deprive ourselves of something, yet that's not the issue. The issue is the quality of food that we're eating. Here's another quote, and I had two of them here on the same page. This is from Coca-Cola Company. Actually, our product is quite healthy. Fluid replenishment is a key to health. Coca-Cola does a great service because it encourages people to take in more and more liquids. I'm sorry. I'm sure that these people mean well. I'll make that assumption. Now, with the billions of dollars that the soft drink industry has, if they want to encourage people to take in more liquids, I would suggest that they suggest that people carry bottled water with them, or that people make a point of drinking water. But I guess there's little profit in that.
Well, actually, it's really funny that you bring that up, Mike. And now that I think about it, I actually kind of wish I would have covered that in the book, because it's true, right? I mean, if you look at, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and, they have actually started making water profitable. And I have nothing wrong with that. I'm all for capitalism. Like, let's make a profit, but let's make a profit helping people rather than a profit hurting people. And if you can get $1 for a bottle of water that costs you nothing, that's still a pretty good deal, So you can even put some flavoring in that water. Let's just not saturate it with, sweeteners that are proven to truly destroy our bodies from the inside out.
Well, and I guess, friends, you heard it here first from Jonathan Bailor. He is a capitalist and happy to make money off of good advice, which I guess is a cheap plug for your book, The Smarter Science of Slim, which is so many of these diet and exercise books come across the desk here at the studio. People, pitching something or another. And they all are touting the same thing, which is starve yourself and go to the gym. And there's always a picture of some very attractive guy or very skinny girl with the implication that if you just eat less and exercise more, you will look like these people. Whereas it doesn't work for us regular folks. I mean, none of that works.
That's exactly right. In fact, it's really been proven not to work, right? I mean, the eat less, exercise more guidance came out first in the late 70s. And if you look at when obesity exploded, it was between the late 70s and today. So thinking, practically or commonsensically, if something doesn't work, the answer isn't to do the same thing over and over again, harder and harder. In fact, I think Einstein actually defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But the devastating part of it, the part that gets me worked up, and the reason I was inspired to write this book is it doesn't have to be that way. There's actual experts. Like, there's the most brilliant minds in the world at Harvard and UCLA and all sorts of other universities that are actually discovering what really causes obesity and what really causes diabetes. And it's not what we're told. And we just haven't had access to that research because it's buried in all these academic journals, and trying to bring that science to the surface is really what the book is about.
What kind of reaction did you get from some of these really smart docs, like at Harvard University and UCLA and Johns Hopkins and other research organizations around the world? I mean, were people glad to see you and embraced you, or
Well, I mean, much like you said, there was originally a lot of skepticism, like, oh, this is just another diet sham. But when they heard that the intention was really to basically give them more of a voice, right? I mean, people who are brilliant biologists are generally not brilliant publicists or brilliant marketers. Their specialty is biology. So, my goal was to say, let me take your information and make it available to the masses, and can we collaborate on that? And more often than not, they were more than willing to help. I was actually very honored to be speaking with many of these people. They take the time to talk with me, but we're both really happy with where we ended up. So it's been a real positive experience for all of us.
As we get towards the end of the show, do you feel like this is your life's mission?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, speaking just from my own personal experience, I used to subscribe to the traditional diet dogma, as I call it, which is I went to the gym 5 to 6 days a week, for a decade. I ate this sort of high starch, low fat, low protein diet, and I got decent results. I'm not going to lie, I got decent results, but the rest of my life took a back seat. Over the past decade, when I've been doing this research and shifting my own life to eat more high-quality food and exercise less but with higher quality, in accordance with all this research, I exercise 1 day a week for less than an hour, and I eat more food and more satisfying food than I ever have in my entire life. And I'm in better shape and feel better than I ever have. And the same is true for everyone in my family, and it's amazing.
Well, and I know what's worked for me, friends. Our guest, Jonathan Bailor, the book, The Smarter Science of Slim. Believe it or not, you can eat more, exercise less, smarter. It's changed my life, and I thank you for that. Jonathan, final question quickly. What next for you in your work?
I think it's really just more the same, Mike. These researchers are a busy bunch, and I think we just need to have a resource and ongoing research to stay abreast of the most recent science when it comes to staying slim, and not the most recent marketing when it comes to making money on us. So I think just more the same goodness, hopefully.
Jonathan, thanks a lot for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
If you have a guest idea for the Night Talker Show, you can reach us at our office in Los Angeles. That number is 323-656-3000. We always respond. And to download this or any other show in the Night Talker archives, go to our website at nighttalker.com and follow the directions to find the shows that are of most interest to you. Well, talk about feeling like a monkey in the box tonight, friends. It's been one of those days. I'm Michael David McGuire. This is the Night Talker Show here on the Night Talker Radio Network. Night Talker, nighttalker.com, the Night Talker logo, and all Night Talker photos, news stories, feature articles, and program content is copyright 1985 to 2011 by Michael David McGuire. All rights reserved. Any other copyrighted photos, stories, and materials are the sole property of the legal copyright holder. Night Talker, nighttalker.com, and the Night Talker radio show are an exercise of free speech. The opinions expressed in these reports and on this show do not necessarily reflect the opinions of show producers, show staff, or show sponsors. Studio catering by Westside Market. All fresh, all delicious, all made from scratch. Westside Market. Generous portions and reasonable prices. For details, go to our website at nighttalker.com.